The purpose of this video is to help environmental science students learn how to navigate our course shell in Canvas. So once you've logged into Canvas and you've clicked on our course, you'll land on the home page. So this is what the home page looks like to me. It looks a little bit different to you, but the main components are the same. The recent announcements will be listed at the top. These are really important, and in fact, this is where I recommend you begin your work each week by reading the weekly announcements. These will post at midnight on Sunday, at 12 a.m. on Sunday, so you'll be able to access that and the new week's module at the same time. So I recommend that you thoroughly read through the announcement and then proceed to the weekly module, which also opens at midnight on Sunday, and that's going to close at Saturday at 11:59 p.m. So you have a full week to work through all of the different components of the module. This information is listed down here in the home page. I've also given you a link to the syllabus, which is super important. You can get to it a bunch of different ways through our Canvas shell. This is just one way. And then finally, this last bullet includes a link to our weekly laboratory supplies list. You're going to be conducting at-home laboratories every week in our environmental science class. If you don't have the supplies, then you can't complete the lab. So I highly recommend that if you haven't already, you look at this list immediately and figure out what you have, what you don't have, what you need to borrow or purchase, and make sure that you have it at the beginning of each week so that you can complete the laboratory. So that's so important that I put it right on the home page too. So moving on from the home page, you can also click on the announcements tab if you want to view the announcements. So they're on the home page and they're here. The modules tab is going to include our weekly modules. This week's a little bit funky because we have two modules to complete this week, the week 0 module and the week 1 module. I'm going to scroll down so that I can walk you through a more typical week in our class. So we'll just get a sneak preview to the week 3 content. Content is the first thing that you'll see in each of the modules. It's listed up top. There's always going to be a bunch of 5 or maybe 6 tabs in the content page. So if you want to view them, you have to click on these links. We're always going to start with an overview, which includes the learning goals for each week. Then there'll be a flashcard alert where I've listed the important terms that you need to know, and I highly recommend that you make flashcards of the terms that you don't know so that you can learn them by the time you take the weekly assessment. And then the remaining tabs are meant to walk you through the information in the textbook. In some cases, there will be links to videos, like you see here, to supplement what you read in the textbook. In some cases, there will be links to blank tables or worksheets for you to fill out that will become study tools for you to use to prepare for the weekly and the summative assessments. So that's what you'll see in the module. The first page in the module is going to be this content page. Let's go back to this view. So we see here there's content. There's also every week going to be a discussion and a laboratory and then 2 quizzes. One of them is a practice quiz that does not count towards your grade. The other one is a 10-point quiz that is timed and does count towards your grade. So just to take a quick look in terms of the discussions, every week you'll see a discussion and there's really specific guidelines here about what's expected of you. There's a grading rubric, so that should be really clear. You can also move through these modules instead of going back to the modules tab by clicking on these tabs at the bottom. This is the page that you'll see for the population ecology laboratory. It takes you to a worksheet. In many cases, you'll need to download and print these laboratories in order to complete them. This also just walks you through exactly what I'm expecting of you. A lot of times you're going to be required to have a digital camera to complete a lab, so you can take a picture of the experimental setup or a plot in this case that you were sampling. So the weekly modules aside from this week are going to be pretty similar in format. You'll always see that content page, a discussion, a laboratory, a practice quiz, and then a 10-point quiz. So that's what you can expect to see under the modules tab. The assignments tab just lists all the assignments that are included in the modules. I think the modules organize the assignments in a much better way, so I usually view those assignments through the module. The discussion tab is going to list all the discussions for the class. Once again, they're in the modules too, and I think it's a little easier to see them in the module view. But I did want to point out that we have this Q&A discussion here for questions that you might have about the class that aren't answered in the syllabus. This is a great place where you can go if you have a question. It might be something that somebody else already asked. So it could be a good resource for the whole class. The quizzes is going to list the quizzes, but again, I think they're better organized inside the modules. I usually access the quizzes there, but this is another place where you can see them. And you can see that there's going to be both practice quizzes and real quizzes for every week in our class. The grades tab is where you can access your grades for every assignment in our class. The People tab is where you can access contact information for your peers. The best way to contact your peers would be through your Canvas inbox, and you're going to learn more about how to use the inbox this week. This is a link that you'll see to the library. So this takes you to a blue button that you click and it takes you to the library. If you're struggling in the class and you think you need some tutoring, NetTutor does have experts who can help you, and you can access that service through the NetTutor tab. The Quest for Online Readiness tab will take you to a couple of resources that can help you determine if you're ready to take an online class. There's also some resources that I've picked out in our week 0 module that are on the same topic. So there's a bunch of information, almost all of the information that you'll need to access for our course is going to be in our Canvas course shell. So hopefully you feel comfortable really quickly navigating the course shell. Please let me know if you have any questions. One more point, the account tab, some of the resources in the week 0 module are going to talk you through modifying some of the features of your account, and that's you can find that account tab right there. Hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.